Sprague, 160 Prospect Hill Road. I'm the butter of Fruitlands, and I'm sorry I came in late. I hate to have to go through things that they've already mentioned. You know, when you think about the abilities to have, you know, people up there buying alcohol and wandering around the grounds outside, you know, at all the functions or any functions, we don't know how many there are going to be, 7 days a week. You know, it's a huge change for the neighborhood. It's one thing to talk about, you know, having alcohol inside a facility, entertainment inside a facility. You know, nobody wants to stop the Concord band, obviously, but to have alcohol in a residential neighborhood on Prospect Hill Road, if there were even, you know, if there were other, you know, functions going on, was whatever, and everybody's wandering around with a beer or alcohol outdoors, I mean, it is hard to understand how we could start the first liquor license with, you know, this scope. I don't know that restricting them to inside entertainment, inside alcohol, would necessarily put them out of business.
And I can imagine if it was a summer day, it would be a nice place to have something set up to serve beverages at a event of some type. So I was imagining that that was a line to say that people at that function that were being served alcohol couldn't cross into the parking lots. They can't come up towards Prospect Hill Road. I didn't understand it to be, there could be a table down the hill in that little corner close to the, you know, the stage where they would also be serving alcohol. And is that what you were getting at, that they would have places set up beyond the immediate building site?
No, you know, well, when you think about, you know, entertainment and music and alcohol, you know, going on, you know, you've been to weddings, you know, you've been to functions, and, you know, in some areas, you know, they do restrict them. You know, I can speak from personal experience at Martha's Vineyard. They have function facilities that require people to you know, stay inside or have, you know, the alcohol restricted so it doesn't just pour out over the hillside. And you know, I'm certainly, obviously, I'm not against them being out on the patio. That's, you know, certainly within reason. I think reasonable is what everyone's trying to accomplish. At least I am. You know, okay. So if you have people partying, you know, I've said this before. I know I really hate to beat this to death, but it's a very different animal when you have a place that people come to have, you know, they're sort of locals. They come to a restaurant, or they come, you know, to have their birthday parties or whatever. When you start into functions, when you go into a function facility, by the way, the number of seats that they can have outnumbers the number of seats you can have at Gibbet Hill. I just had a wedding there. My daughter was married there. Their numbers are less than what we were allowing at Prospect Hill Road. So and you bring in what happens to my neighborhood is that you bring people who come just to party. They're not Harvard residents. They come from all over. They fly in. You know, they're people coming to just party. You know, I probably, to be honest with you, I may, and I hate to babble. I do babble when I get stressed, but I may never have had a concern, except for my architect who designed our house, said, when this started, you know, the alcohol business, said, you know, I live on the road of Harrington Farms. Nobody paid any attention. And all of a sudden, Harrington Farms turned into a function facility. He said, you know, nobody really gave it a lot of thought, but here's what happened. You know, the balloons would go up on the end of the road. And then, you know, the partiers would come. They would go up this pretty little country road, which you've been to. Maybe a lot of you have been there. And they would go up the road slow because they were trying to find the place. Most people didn't know where it was. They were out of towns. And then they would go up to the restaurant, they would have their party, and they would get tanked up. And then they would start down the road. And then they were drunk. They'd been drinking. Drunk. whatever, people had been drinking, so they went, what, fast. So they were driving fast, and then what else did they do? They threw things out the windows. And pretty soon, you know, it really changed the whole complexion of that neighborhood. And that's when I said, well, you know, I would just, the only question that I have is that what we want? I really would like it just, my hope would be that we have Fruitlands. It's a beautiful place, a place we can all be proud of, but maybe not a commercial function facility.
Okay, thank you.